as it goes into this front part here, it becomes more and more defined as the closer we go to this part, and then it kind of crashes into this part. It's like it's making its impact dent. Guys, this is the brand new Aston Martin Valhalla, and we're gonna talk about this design here and also compare it to its closest competitor, the Ferrari SF90 Stradale. I'm really excited about this car. I think this is the right approach to go from Aston Martin. I think this is one of the best looking Aston Martins in the past decade. I'm going to show you exactly why in this video. The new Valhalla here is powered by a Mercedes-Benz AMG supplied 4-liter twin-turbo V8 combined with 2 electric motors, which in total puts out a massive 937 horsepower. 0 to 62 miles per hour or 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes just 2.5 seconds, and it goes on to a top speed of 217 miles per hour. That is 350 kilometers per hour. In pure electric mode, the Valhalla here can travel for about 9 miles. Not that impressive, but who is going to drive the Valhalla in pure electric mode when you have an AMG supplied 4-liter V8 in the back? But anyway, 9 miles is enough battery power, just far enough to quietly leave your house without waking up the entire neighborhood. I guess it's a good thing. Now, this is the production version of the 2019 concept called the RB003. That car was fitted with a V6 that was intended to go into production with the V6. But I'm really glad, I think we're all glad that they decided to go with the AMG V8 here instead. Because if we look around and look to the closest competitor, we see that is a red little Ferrari sneaking out there in the corner, and that is the 986 horsepower Ferrari SF90 Stradale. And these are very similar cars. Both are V8 hybrids, both have all-wheel drive, both have 8-speed automatic dual clutches transmissions, and both are strictly 2-seater mid-engine coupes. The Ferrari starts at $627,000. Aston Martin Valhalla here starts at $800,000. The Aston Martin is a limited production series with only 500 ever being made, while the SF90 Stradale is actually a series production. It's supposed to be in production for years to come, so that's also a bit of a difference between the two cars. But the price point is fairly similar that I think we can use them both to analyze the design. I'm going to show you which exactly I would prefer here. So this is the gorgeous Valhalla here. Just look at this beautiful car. It's such a both modern design, and at the same time it's a timeless mid-engine proportions of this car, but you have the graphical details is what makes this very interesting here and very modern. This could not have been made, say, 15 years ago with these production manufacturing methods that I see here going on. For example, this piece right here. What I love about this car is that this is an undoubtedly Aston Martin when you look at it. You can cover the front emblem here, and you would still know just by looking at the design that this is an Aston Martin. And that's kind of rare in today's world. You have a lot of blends between manufacturers and designers, design houses, that kind of makes the car looks very similar, and it's hard to tell the brands apart if you don't have any emblems or logos to look at. But this is definitely an Aston Martin, and specifically if you look at this mouth here, which is typical Aston Martin. And one thing that I really love that they implemented here is that they implemented a grille in a supercar, in a hypercar. And that's also typical for Aston Martin and atypical for any other hypercar manufacturer to have a massive grille right here, which gives the car a typical Aston Martin face as well and helps with the identification and the brand identity. One line I really like here, and I love the treatment of, is you can see that this line goes in here and then into through the tire or wheel, and then into the side here, and then kind of fades into something smoother right here over the rear fender, the rear shoulder here, or the rear axle. But what I like about this is that as it goes into this front part here, it becomes more and more defined as the closer we go to this part, and then it kind of crashes into this part. It's like it's making its impact dent into this part because of the translation from a soft curvature here into a sharp line right here, and it gets so sharp right here that I feel like it's kind of crashing into this, and it's encapsulated by this front fender here in a very beautiful way. And then it comes back out here in the front and creates the traditional front end of the Aston Martin that we have right here. And also very traditional looking headlights as well. And just look at these beautiful front fenders here, how they kind of melt into the rest of the hood here. And I can imagine if you're driving this car and you look out here, you can see these two front fenders telling you where the wheels are, and you just know that you're in a very special car. So comparing this to the SF90 Stradale down here, let's pop that in right there. You can see that the SF90 Stradale is still, it's a good looking car, but I just don't think it has any, comparing these two designs, it doesn't have any, it has nothing on the Aston Martin Valhalla here in terms of beauty and elegance. I think, I've said it before, I think the Brits or the British are now the ones who have who sit on the throne when it comes to elegance and beauty, and just smooth lines in their designs, gracefulness in their cars, even in their hypercars. This looks still a little too busy for my taste for a Ferrari. I think Ferrari needs to maybe dial back a little bit, as we have with the new 296 GTB and the Ferrari Roma as well. Just dial it back, even in the hypercars. There's too much going on, too many breaks in the line flow here that doesn't make sense to me, at least, when I look at Ferrari today and compare it to what when I was growing up, what I thought a Ferrari is when it comes to the design and the line flow and so on. And I think Aston Martin does a great job here. They definitely have this line flow that I'm looking for in the Italians. And you don't have a lot of brakes as you have down here. However, one thing that looks a little strange and a little too product designy here is this part right here. This angle right here, these very harsh corners in these types right here, and you have the same kind of width here as well, or height. And this reminds me of the same problem that I had with the MC20, the Maserati, the new Maserati MC20, I think it's called, which also has a similar design element down here. So the Maserati has almost like a Polestar lower part of the car, and then the top part is very Italian, very Maserati, and then you can kind of cut it in half, so the lower part looks like a Polestar, and the top part looks very stylized, elegant, as an Italian sport car should. But this is kind of not as bad as in the Maserati, but I think we could probably adjust this a little bit and make it a little smoother to have a better flow with everything else, because I don't see any sort of parallel lines like we have right here anywhere else in the car. So this is just a graphic feature that it looks a little off, but it's just a detail. I still think this is a totally stunning car. So let's have a look at the side view, which you can see this graphic element a little bit better when you look at it right here. I like that it looks like it's an exo. This green part, which by the way is a beautiful color, but this green part, it's like it's an exoskeleton on top of these black parts right here. So I'm guessing this is the carbon fiber top or something like that, and you have that up here as well, and you have some black pieces sticking out here as well, and then you have these like protective panels, beautiful panels that wrap around these black pieces and kind of encapsulate the occupants in this car. It's a stunning design, and it's very simple design, but it's also very purposeful. And let's have a look at the SF90 here. From a side view, I think it looks pretty good, but at the same time, you have, if you look at the integration of the air intakes right here, for example, here and here, I think this intake right here kind of clashes a little bit with the shoulder line right here and the fender line in the rear end. But if there's any view you want to look at the SF90 from, it's definitely the side view. It's a beautiful side view, but I just don't think it has. I just don't think it's as beautiful as the Valhalla at the top there. So let's have a look at the rear here, and this is where the differences really comes into play when we compare it to the SF90 here, because you can see just how nicely everything flows here in the Valhalla. You have this line right here flowing back, you have the roof line flowing all the way back, totally interrupted all the way to the very end of the car, and you have it of course on the other side as well. All these flowing lines going back here and creating this nice aero flow and aero design of the car. It looks fast when you look at it from this view right here. And I'm also a fan of these LED dots, or I don't know what to call these things, but they look very cool and very futuristic when you zoom in on them. And then of course you have a massive diffuser down there, and here you have this feature that I was talking about earlier. We have this kind of same angle, same parallelity in this graphic feature from any angle, no matter what we look from, what angle we'll look on the car here. I think that's the problem that I have with this little piece right here. Not sure what we can do with this. Maybe create something that this side is not mirrored in that side. I want to have these be a little different, maybe some more body mass in the rear here or something like that. I'm not sure how to really fix that. But let's have a look at the SF90 here. And what I want to show you here is, as I said, you had all the flow up here in the Valhalla, and it looks like this, something like this, and then you have the flow here is interrupted by so many lines. There is so much going on in this surface area of the SF90 Stradale that it doesn't look as aerodynamic, and especially when you have two-tone right here. So the roof is black and the rest is red here. If we follow the roofline here, you can see that the roofline doesn't really go anywhere. It just crashes into this other segment of the car, and you can't pick up this line anywhere else in the car. Same thing with the roofline as well. It crashes into this piece right here, which then turns into a totally different shape of the car. So it looks a little too busy for my taste. And if I had to choose which one I would actually buy between these two, if I was putting my money on the table, and I had to buy one of these cars, which sounds very horrible, right? I have to buy either a Valhalla or an SF90 Stradale. Which do I pick? Well, in this case, I guess you can figure it out already. I would definitely gonna go with the Aston Martin here, just for the sake of the design. There's not a lot of features on the SF90 that I prefer over the Valhalla, the Aston Martin here. For example, you can look at the integration of the tailpipes here and the tailpipes here, and which look like it has more thought and quality behind them, for example. That's just one of these details. And also these air intakes here and these vents here, it's just a beautiful integrated in the line flow itself. So you have these air intakes being part of the lines that are stretching back from the A-pillar all the way back to the end of the car. And the integration of this spoiler here as well, very beautifully done going into this piece right here. So as you can tell, I'm a huge fan of the Valhalla. I can't wait to see this in real life. Also the wheels here, I like simple design wheels, even though these are pretty complex, but they made it graphically look like it's a simple wheel with just 6 spokes right here that are clearly visible, but you have a bunch of different spider webs going on here that are blacked out, which you can't really see as well as if they were the same silver color as the main 6 spokes here. And I think it's one of the best looking Aston Martins in recent years. And I just want to show you what I think's been lacking from Aston Martin in the recent years. Up until the Vantage is a beautiful car as well, but the DBS Superleggera, for example, let's have a look at that right here. What I think about this is, I think I made a redesign of this a while back, but I think it looks like it's been chopped off here, like it's a stomp of some sort, that someone has cut off a limb of the Aston Martin, because it ends so not Aston Martin-ish. It needs to be more elegant here, like the old DBSs and the old DB7, for example. It's a simple change. Instead of having this massive wall of a front grille like we have on the DBS, I want to have it be smoother and more of a nicer transition going in to the end of the front end. And we can just do that by simply stretching this out a little bit like this. And I think specifically the DBS here, the Superleggera, kind of misses the point by having this stump in the front. And it's not a massive change that you need to do, it's just a tiny change like this. And I think it looks a lot better. And specifically, the best looking DBS is of course the first generation DBS, which has a almost even sleeker front end than this. It looks almost like a shark, and definitely prefer that design over this modern DBS. But that's my thoughts on the Valhalla. Let me know what you think about the car in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.